Alright, so I've had a few people ask me about why I squat every day, and they're basically saying, a few of you guys have said it's not the most optimal program to get strong, to get big, and so that kind of inspired me to make a video rather than just reply to everyone individually on the comments. So here it is. So I made a couple of notes, so I keep this structured and kind of short. I made kind of dot points of the most important things that kind of motivate me to continue to squat every day. The first one is a quote by Aristotle. I've got it on the top of my rack here. I've had it basically since I got my squat rack. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but I'll read it to you. It reads, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit." I came around this quote some time ago. And then I kind of remembered it when I was reading Matt Perryman's book, Squat Every Day. He kind of resonated with me what Matt Perryman was talking about in that book. And then I kind of remembered Aristotle's quote. And that basically was kind of the planting of the seed of my philosophy of training and what kind of led me to starting squatting every day. So that's that portion of it. In terms of the other dot points, so I've got Aristotle number one, soreness is number two. It is basically a well-known fact that everyone hates leg day, everyone skips leg day because it's absolutely brutal, and you get sore for like a week essentially afterwards if you really smash your legs, your lower body on the once a week program. So I used to do that back in the day when I first started training. I just followed everyone else in the gym. All the bros were doing leg day, arm day, chest day, back day, all that sort of stuff. And so I also quickly began to hate leg day. It was just brutal. The next day I couldn't even sit on the toilet to take a shit. Anyway, so I kind of like put up with this like everyone else for some time until I came up. I don't know how I actually bumped into Matt Perryman. I think it was somebody talking about squatting on the net. And yeah, that's basically it. Basically, I feel like soreness should not be an indicator of a good training session. Everyone thinks that you need to be sore to get progression, to get massive, to get stronger. I definitely think that's not the case. Soreness is basically a reflection of you doing too much work for what the muscle is capable of at that time. You're not fit enough for that amount of work. And so people gauge their workouts based on soreness. It's not the fact, guys. Like, you do not have to kill yourself, punish your body to get stronger and to get better. It's not true. You just need to incrementally, steadily, consistently increase your training volume over time. That doesn't mean you have to be sore every single time you step up in volume, but there needs to be some sort of like progression. Step-loaded progression. It could be a linear progression. It could be concurrent. You can do all sorts of progressions as long as you are adding volume over time, and the volume will come as you get stronger, right? If you do 10 sets of 10 with 100 kilos, that's one set of volume. But then if you get a little stronger and you end up doing 10 sets of 10 with 110 kilos, that's also volume. You can also increase the sets and the reps and all that sort of stuff. So with squat every day, I'm basically never sore. You guys don't believe me when I say this, but I'm never freaking sore when I squat every day. Occasionally, if I misjudge and I do too many sets or my back off sets or whatever, I get sore. When I first started doing small love, I think the first time I did 4 sets of 9, I was a little bit sore the following day because I spent basically months on end of doing, 1 set or 2 sets of triples as my back off sets, and then I did smaller, and it was like, whoa, that's a different stimulus altogether. So Aristotle quote number 1, soreness number 2. Number 3 is also kind of very important to me, and that's technique. I come from a world of basketball. I grew up playing basketball, and basketball is everything I wanted to do. I wanted to become a professional basketball player, hence why you guys see so many NBA jerseys on me nowadays. Follow the NBA. And so, obviously, it is a skillful sport. Technique is everything. You don't need to be massive to be able to shoot a three-pointer. It's all about technique. It's about how you shoot the ball, how you dribble the ball, how you see the court, how you control the ball, all that stuff. So everything is skill-based. Sure, there is a strength component and a power component in the sport, but there's certainly at the junior level, it's all about who can shoot better, who can dribble better, who can see the court better, and all that kind of thing. So technique is very important in the strength game as well. People think that strength is purely a muscular expression. It is not. There's a lot of skill involved. And skill is not in the sense of straight bar path and the way you kind of lower down and the way you kind of sit in the hole and you bounce out and all of that. That's timing, and that's also technique, but it's not the only thing. Technique is also I do like to think about it. Technique is also the way your body fires the muscles, right? So it's not something you can learn overnight. I can give you cues on that. No, technique is also practicing a movement so much that the body is just automatically firing the muscle that it has effectively. I heard this from someone, I think it was John Bros. He talked about how do you get more power out of an engine, out of a 4-cylinder engine? Well, you can swap that engine for a V8, right? Or you can optimize the 4 cylinders that you have, because that 4-cylinder engine that you have might be running on, say, 3 cylinders in terms of how much power you can actually put out. You can become more efficient at using those 4 cylinders. So, you know, in the car world, you put a chip in, you tune it up a little bit, you know, you get fancy with electronics and you get more juice out of it. You know, you retard the timing or whatever, advance the timing of the engine, and you get more power out of it. Or you can just swap it for a bigger a V8 engine. That's akin to slapping on masses of muscle on your legs and your glutes, on all of that, and then you can output more power that way. Or, like I said, you can just become more efficient with what you've got. And that's the thing that I like. I like to not just become fat and big and muscular and all this sort of stuff. I want to be normal size, you know, healthy size, so my cardiovascular system doesn't suffer, and also become strong. Kind of like the Olympic weightlifting. It's kind of like the MMA world. Everything is, you know, weight classes everywhere. You know, you can't have a 200 kilo guy squatting with an 80 kilo guy. It's a different weight class. So I like that. Technique allows somebody of a normal stature to become strong. I like that. It's kind of like that sleeper strength. And one of you guys actually has a channel called Sleeper Strength, and I forgot to comment on it. It's an unbelievable channel. So it's kind of like the sleeper look. You know, a car that you don't think is very powerful, and then it just shoots off the lights. That kind of stuff. Health reasons, number one, I like that. And two, I think it's really cool when you see somebody who is kind of like a normal Joe, average Joe, and has the ability to be strong. We see it in MMA, we see it in boxing, and weightlifting. We also see it in basketball, sports, not just basketball, soccer. The key is to be as light as possible and as strong as possible, because added weight will slow you down, it will tire you out. So, technique. And squat every day allows you to practice that technique every single day, right? The more you practice, the better you get at something, right? I made that distinction that to become more efficient at a movement, you need better technique. And squat every day allows you to do that. Bulgarians did it 3 times a day, right? That's practicing a technique all the time. Pavel Tsatsouline is another name that I want to throw in here as well. He talked about greasing the groove. Look that up. That's also a really cool concept. It's about doing a movement sub-optimally or sub-maximally every single day. So if you can do 10 reps, you do 6 reps, and you do it throughout the day. You're continuously revisiting that skill, and you become more efficient with your neural firing. That's the name of the game here. Somebody becoming more efficient. I just thought of another scenario of people kind of in soccer who have an incredible hitting ability of the ball, but they don't look massive, yet they can hit that ball so sweetly and it flies like crazy. And then you have bigger guys who don't have the ability to hit the ball that well. That's technique. That man has perfected that motion and is basically getting every little ounce out of that muscle that he has. The fourth point that I love about squat every day is the volume. That kind of feeds into the soreness. You don't have to have all of your volume in one session. You can separate your volume, your weekly volume, into 7 days. Even 14 if you want to do 2 sessions a day. That is really cool. You're never sore because of that reason, because you can even do more volume than you can do in one day. I am doing right now more volume than I would ever imagine I could do if I squatted once a week. It's just impossible to do 7 sets of 90% singles every single, like that. I'll do that basically every single day. I could do that every single day. Can you do that in one session? Absolutely not. And you guys have to kind of stop thinking about your weekly volume in one session, you know, and just spread it out a little bit. It's a lot easier. You don't have to squat every day, but certainly it's better to squat 3 or 4 times a week rather than just one. The reason why you hate squatting, the reason why you hate leg day, is because you're doing way too many sets and reps in one session of the week. It's just brutality. It's just hell, living hell. The other point I want to make about squat every day is mobility. I have gotten more questions about mobility on this channel than anything else. And I continuously say that if you do something every single day, your body will just assume that position better. I practice squatting every single day. I get into ATG every single day. I don't need to stretch. Occasionally I do RDLs, kind of like I've said, but even that's kind of like come out of my program a little bit recently. It's because when you do pause squats with 180 kilos in your back, everything is stretching, man. It is high specificity. Everything is where you want it to be. It's the stretch that you need. No matter groin stretching, hamstring stretching, and glute stretching, can get the same effect as something like ATG squats, because that's exactly what we want to do. We want to do ATG squats. So mobility is number one. I don't stretch ever. Statically stretch, I never stretch. Some of you guys might have difficulties to get into ATG position. I've recommended for you guys to maybe do some static stretching, but if you're strapped for time, don't replace squatting with static stretching. It's just inefficient. I've spent a lot of time with static stretching in the past, and I've concluded basically that it's ineffective. I stretched today for an hour in front of the TV while we're watching the TV with kids. The following day I wake up, it's as though I never did anything. I just revert back to my square one. I hated that, man. It just doesn't stick around. You're better off doing, weighted RDLs, feel the end range of motion, then kind of contract out of that long position. I feel like that's a lot more effective. But that's another point. Mobility. You just get it because you're doing it all the time. And the last point I want to make that I've written here, it's fun. It's as simple as that. I love to train. I love to squat. I love to think that the best movement I'm going to have is the squat. I want the squat to be the best movement that I have, the best lift. And so I love working at it every day. Maybe I'm weird like that. Maybe you guys don't love training that much. But I love to train. I get excited. It's the kind of highlight of my day. To come in and put the bar on my back, get into these positions and squat. I love it. I'm one of those guys that loves what I'm doing right now. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, you're not going to get the results that you're seeking. Look for something that you're going to enjoy. And get out of this mentality that you have to fight your body to get better. Your body is your ally. It's not your enemy. And I think a lot of the reason why people hate training is because every time they come into a session, they go for a workout. And I've said this in the past. You need to kind of make a distinction between training and working out. Working out is just punishment. That's how I think about it. It's just freaking hard work. You're sweating, you're huffing and puffing, and it's just agony. Training is a focused, strategic, planned way of training or of doing a session where you have a longer vision, right? You're working a system, whereas a workout is just like kill yourself, don't leave anything in the tank, and leave. That's not fun. I don't find that fun. Running sand dunes, running up mountains, running up hills, that is just conditioning. That's not fun. Some of you guys might find that fun, but for me, I don't like that. I like the idea of training, working on technique, working on positions, optimizing my leverages. That to me is training. But when you're doing, a set of 50 on squats, you're not thinking about any of the things. You're just thinking about getting the hell that weight up off your back, or getting up. That's a different mentality altogether. So there you go. To summarize, Aristotle squat means a lot to me. I live my life by that, inside and outside the gym. I don't get sore squatting every day. My technique is on point every single day, and I practice it every single day. Therefore, my technique is always on point. Volume is easily spread throughout a week. I don't have hate days. I don't lose sleep over, oh my God, tomorrow I have a big squat session. I'm going to be sore as hell. I don't have those days. So that's volume. Mobility, I don't stretch. I squat every day, and that's my stretching. I stretch while I work out. And finally, last but not least, I'm having fun, man. I'm truly having fun. This is what I want to do. Whether you agree with my philosophy or not, maybe there's better strength programs out there, but the things I've listed here far outweigh the things you're talking about, or you guys might be talking about. I'm doing a lot here, and it's not just about strength. There's a lot of things happening here. Gets me off the couch, gets me moving every day. I start every session with the squat. And yeah, there's a lot of points that I covered here. And I'll basically reference this video to some of you guys in the future who have asked me the same question. I love texting, but I feel like when 4 guys ask the same question, I just feel like might as well make a video and make it a true in-depth video and answer people's questions to the truest form. Anyway guys, that's another talking video. Hope you enjoyed, hope you understand where I'm coming from. If you have any other questions, ask me. I'm all too willing to make videos like this. I'm much more willing to talk than to type, but anyway, I'll catch you in the next one. See you guys.